everybody is debating Claude versus Codex versus Gemini versus Grok 4.5, which is out now. And I'm like, why not use them all? One AI is not your team. And most people use one AI like it is their whole team, right? It's the researcher, strategist, developer, reviewer, marketer, QA tester, all dumped in one chat window. And that's exactly why the answer can sound very smart and confident and still be kind of one dimensional. And therefore, I've built this skill. Now, I will leave it down in the description so you can download it. It is very optimized and I love using this right now. This is a local Codex skill called the OpenRouter Fusion. And I will explain to you exactly what this is. It let me ask a panel of different models for a second opinion. Then it gives me a synthesized answer through one judge model. So instead of only asking Claude or only asking Codex, I can bring in Grok, GLM, Gemini, Kimi, DeepSeek, or Gwen when the ask actually deserves more angles. And that's great because often when you talk to Claude, it is really Claudy. When you talk to Codex, it's really Cody. And sometimes you just want more angles. So I will show you exactly what it does and the best use cases to use this for, because there are things that give you a lot more perspective and it opens a bunch of doors for you. And you can use it in your project folder. That's the cool thing. It can read your code. It can really understand what you are building. The point is not that this is another chatbot. The important part is not that I can now talk to more models, right? That's not so hard. The important part is the routing, actually. For simple coding, I do not need a panel. Codex or Claude is just faster and often also better. But for scripts, for plans, prompts, product ideas, page reviews, and red team checks, creativity, ideas like generation, one model can miss the blind spot that another model catches immediately. And then, if you can combine all these good answers into one answer, then you know that it has been reviewed from multiple angles. So, let me show you how to set this up and what the estimated cost is if you run this, which is not much, what the outcome is, and how it's being researched and what the best use cases are to run this. So this entire panel runs to one router, right? OpenRouter is useful here because I do not want to wire every model separately. I don't want to take a subscription on Gemini and on Grok and GLM and all of that, right? The skill can fetch live model metadata. It checks what's available. It estimates rough cost, and it warns me when a new model looks interesting but untested. So it also advises me like, hey, this is what you want to run it on. Use this model. Shall we do that? And I'm like, okay, let's do that. It also keeps Claude and Codex OpenAI excluded by default because I already use those directly. So I rather use the Fusion for models that I don't have direct access to. As you can see in the skill, I have my default basket right here with Grok 4.2. And yeah, I know we have 4.5, but I live in Europe and they're rolling it out mid-July. 4.2 is great as well. I use GLM 5.2, Gemini Pro latest, Kimi 2.6. Right? And then there are alternatives like DeepSeek and Gwen if we need different angles. And it says exactly what they're good at, right? Grok is strong, it's cheap for its class, and it's useful for direct contrarian or less conventional reasoning. Then we have GLM, which is great because it has a larger context model window and it's really cost efficient. We have Gemini, which is, in my opinion, also just better for like reasoning and real up-to-date data. And as it says right here, it's for broad synthesis, long context structure, and pattern finding. And then we have Kimi, which is more the wild card. And it says right here, Kimi is most useful when Menno, hi, I'm Menno, wants unusual angles, fresh framing, less obvious alternatives. It's less essential for strict verification, right? So it has a basket of multiple different models coming from different angles and not all with the same reasoning behind it. And this scale has different modes. Creative is for hooks, titles, campaigns, feature ideas. weird angles, right? Script writing, all that kind of stuff. Verify is for coherence and second opinions, right? So if I ever have an idea, like, okay, I think we're onto something. Okay, let me run the fusion skill. What do you think about this, right? Red team is for why is this bad? Like burn me, basically. Cheap is for cheaper. Quick is for cheaper, basically. High is the bigger panel when the decision deserves it. And then we have the default, basically when I just want to, is it like, what's your opinion on all of this, basically? And this is the part where most people skip it. They ask the same model the same way for every problem, and then they're going to get the same answers with the same problem. So what you need to do anyway, that's not in the skill. It needs your API key, right? I'm not going to give you my API key. Go to OpenRouter.ai, make an account, put like $10 on it. You get an API key, give it a Claude or Codex in the env file and say, hey, here it is. Use it for the skill. And there you have it. And the setup is simple in structure, but you need to be a little bit disciplined about it. One, create the skill folder. But again, you can download it below if you feel like, hey, that's a good starting point for me, right? 2, write the skill MD so Codex or Claude knows when to use it. And 3, define the model basket in JSON, right? So you want to select for yourself which models you want to use with this. And there are some caveats to it, right? For example, I wanted to use Grok 4.5 as my main model that sums it all together. But since that's not available in Europe, the whole chain fails. Right, so know about that whenever you are setting this up. And then 4, use a helper script for recommend and run. 5, set your key only in the environment, okay? Never paste your key in the prompt, never send EVM or EMV somewhere, never dump the whole repo into a model panel or anything like that. That's just not safe. So let's go over 5 use cases, basically, that we can, apply to this skill to really make it useful. First, improving YouTube scripts. I have a YouTube OS operating system skill that I, brainstorm about ideas. I get a script in return, an overlay. I get a teleprompt overlay. It edits my video. It looks at my YouTube channel, what works, what doesn't work. And this works really well when it comes to writing hooks, intros, retention clips, story arcs, title, thumbnail fit. It checks my voice. And it's just real good at, if Claude writes a script, then Gemini can say like, well, this is a better storyline, or whatever. It can say like, well, this is a good hook, right? Again, multiple angles. Second, red team, a video idea. Why would this not click? What is boring? What is unbelievable? What is too abstract? Or what is like too late? Be like a little, not only telling me what's good about it, right? We all know how that goes. Third, reviewing implementation plans, missing edge cases, bad sequence, too much scope, security gaps, whatever. And this is perfect to combine with Claude Fable 5, right? A lot of people like to use Claude Fable 5 and it's really good at things, but it's not perfect. So if Claude Fable 5 writes you a fantastic implementation plan, you can always say like, hey, run the OpenRouter skill to review this implementation plan. And then you'll know that from multiple angles, it has been reviewed. Then 4, new features or offer brainstorms, right? If you feel like, man, I am thinking about a new feature, what could be creative, what could be good, then it might be worth it to talk about it again with multiple models. And 5th, page and conversion reviews. But I, again, have a YouTube operating system skill. So I can run this fusion on it and say like, hey, look at the entire skill. What is actually missing? What could be better? And you'll be surprised the things that Claude, gave you. You're like, okay, I'm stuck in this Claude review. And then GLM comes in like, oh, but have you thought about this? Oh, no, thanks. My skill is now permanently better. Number 7, strategic decisions. Like, should we actually build this? Which channel should we do first? What are the alternatives? Number 8, marketing angle generations. Number 9, like I'm not gonna give too much context there. I'm just giving examples of things that the skill can do, right? Number 9, contrarian second opinions. Ask the anti case on purpose. And number 10, research sentences after I already collected the context locally. Simple coding tasks, right? Codex or Claude is faster, cheaper eventually if you have a subscription, and also just better. Do not use it when one source document answers the question already. Sometimes you have an answer and that's just the answer, right? Do not use it for huge repo dumps. Also, that's way too wide. It's not good enough for that, and it's gonna drain you. You can better use workflows from Claude, for example. Do not use it for any secrets. Don't give it your EMVs. Don't give it your personal, like real personal data or logins or whatever. And do not treat it as the final truth for financial or investment decisions as well. Use it as extra research, but that goes for every model. And do not use it for pixel perfect front end QA unless you give it screenshots of browser context. I still think that there are things like Claude Design or whatever that are really, really, really good at that. And I think you can use this skill for better things than that. So like I said, it exists out of multiple layers, right? And the first command is a pre-flight, it's recommend. It does not spend any OpenRouter credits. It just tells me the mode, the panel, the judge, the warnings, and the estimated cost. So if I am going to Codex or Claude and I'm saying, hey, I'm working on this, use the recommend mode on Fusion, then it's just going to tell me like, hey, these are the models that you should use for this. This is probably what it's going to cost you. And overall, it's going to cost me between 10 cents for a most simple research and all the way up to like $1 for the big tasks, right? So don't use it for everything. Otherwise, like $1 and $1 and $1 is going to stack up. But sometimes if you feel like you're stuck, it's great. Then only if the task deserves it and the API key is set, then I run the actual panel with a compact prompt file, right? And that sequence is the workflow. Local context first, recommend, and then run it. To wrap it up, Fusion is not my actual decision maker. It's a thinking panel that I use when one model feels like it's just too narrow, or when a plan needs a little bit of pressure, or when a creative idea needs more angles. Or just simply when I have a day like, I want to go, but I don't want to, like we all have these days. Like, what do we do, right? Skill is not to use more AI. It's the real skill. It's knowing when more AI is worth the cost and it's more efficiently using the tools that we have. So comment what I should throw on Fusion next. If you want to see it like live on cam, no editing, right? A YouTube script, an implementation plan, a website page, or a terrible feature idea. It could all happen. I hope it's useful. And even with the skill down below, if you feel like, how do I set it up? Just tell Claude or Codex, hey, I want to use the OpenRouter Fusion. What is it? How do I use it? What do you need? And you'll get the answers, right? You can use AI to help you explain AI. It's super beta. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.